Hey guys, episode 12? Anyway, probably something like that. Happy New Year, everyone. It's a bit late, but I wanted to speak about resetting your sleeping pattern. It's a simple one, but it's a useful one, and it's a one I've had a lot of experience. New Year's resolution and everything, a lot of our generation aren't so good at resetting our sleeping pattern, and with all the technology, etc., blah, 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 it can be difficult, especially if you don't have some sort of formal job or something, or you work part-time or something like this. So. Where to begin? Okay, so I'll tell you some of the techniques that I've tried and what worked and what didn't for me. I'm quite a physically sensitive person. I'll get migraines if I mess up my sleeping pattern too much. So fixing them after I've had a long time messing them up has been quite challenging for me, actually. So I tried doing an all-nighter and then just going to bed at the time that I wish to go to bed at, and then setting alarm for the time I want to wake up at. And I've had some success with that, but the issue is for me, I get migraines, and then sometimes you become so sleep deprived that you then in the subsequent days mess it up with, I can't stay awake throughout the whole day or whatever, and then you feel disorientated and you don't have the willpower to sort of figure it all out. Another one I've tried, making a cup of coffee next to your bed, setting your alarm, just making the cup of coffee, or I don't mind cold black coffee, that's probably kind of weird, and then just drinking it, and then just straight away caffeine boosting myself awake in the morning. For those of you who spend a long time in bed, that can be a good one, and this can be okay, but the thing is as well is this isn't so good because first thing in the morning your cortisol levels are very high. So if you then have a cup of coffee straight away, you boost them really high, and then you make a tolerance for yourself really quickly. So it's actually better to have, if you want a coffee, about an hour after you've woken up, because then your cortisol levels have sort of sunk a little bit, which is a lot better for you. But that's a technique I tried with some success, and it's worked to some degree. That's better if you're only a slight bit out. Whereas for my sleeping patterns, they were way out. Like I was going to bed at like 4 in the morning, waking up at 12, and I wanted to be getting up at 7 o'clock and going to bed at 10 p.m. So, yeah. So, here are some of the techniques I tried with some success. I never really found that gradually doing it to provide that much success, unless you want to shift your sleeping pattern a little bit. But here's my experiment, and here's what has worked for me. Okay, are you ready for my secret tip, guys? So, first night, get about half of your time, the amount of time that you sleep. If you sleep 8 hours, 4 hours. If you sleep 9 hours, 4.5, 5 hours, whatever it is, you take half of whatever you usually sleep, and be generous. Give yourself maybe another half hour just to allow yourself to go to sleep. And you set an alarm for 4 hours after you go to bed. Now, what this does is this means that you have half of your sleep cycle. There are two main cycles in your nightly sleep if you're sleeping for 8 hours-ish. And that means that you get to cover both of those cycles. That means that that's not true. That means that if you do like a half sleep, that you get one of those full complete cycles, which means that you're not totally exhausted. So After this point, what you do is you stay up the whole day, don't nap, have a bit of extra caffeine in the morning, early on, not like after 12 or anything. That may keep you up as well. You know, if you think you might need a bit extra, boost yourself early on. Then you stay up all the way until your desired bedtime. So for me, it was like 10 o'clock. And then you go to bed. Make sure you've got ample time to get ready. You've brushed your teeth. You've got everything. And you're in bed, preferably a little bit earlier than the time you want. But, you know, pretty much dead on or a bit before the time you want to go to bed. And then you go to sleep, setting your alarm at the desired time you want to wake up. Now, what this does is, because you're slightly sleep deprived, but only slightly, not enough where it's going to be crazy, not enough where it's going to be painful or you're going to struggle through the whole day or anything, that means that you'll be just ready to go to sleep whenever you set your time. Hopefully. You know, this is my technique. This is what worked for me. So it may take some tweaking on your behalf. But then when you go to sleep, you wake up. Maybe the next day you need your bit of caffeine because you've just reshifted your sleeping pattern, and you stick to that new pattern like glue. And every morning you get up, you make sure that you're awake at that time. Even if you can't get out of bed, you make sure that you don't fall back to sleep. And every evening you make sure that you're in bed at least at the time you set yourself, if not a bit earlier. And you make sure that if you're feeling tired and if you're starting to feel like exhausted, then you give yourself more time. If you think, I usually only need 8.5 hours of sleep, well, perhaps because you've reset your sleeping schedule, you may need 9 hours, 9.5, perhaps even 10. But whatever it is, so you may need to give yourself incrementally a little bit more time of sleep to adjust. Make sure that you don't get into the pattern that I used to get into, where you would fix your sleeping schedule. It would be great for a week, but I was just sleeping a little bit less than I needed each night. And then what happens is it finished in collapse, where at a certain point I would fall asleep in the middle of the day and it ruined my whole work, and then I'd go straight back to what I was sleeping at before. So make sure you give yourself that extra sleeping time. And don't have caffeine after like 2 or something, or at least don't have it 6 to 8 hours before you go to bed. Because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. That means if you have 2 coffees at lunchtime, then by the time it's 6 o'clock, you'll have 1 cup of coffee running through your veins, the equivalent amount of caffeine of 1 cup of coffee. And 12 hours from the point that you drank your 2 cups of coffee, you'll have half a cup of coffee. And then 6 hours from then, it'll be 1/8 of a cup. 6 hours from then, 16th. So, keep that in mind. So, is there anything else? I'm just going to celebrate the benefits of sleeping when you want to sleep. It seems like when you want to fix things in your life, that fixing the thing that is... I'm just going to make sure that I don't step in any of this water here, but I would like a little sit down. This is maybe a bit risky. We'll just see. Okay, this is nice. I'll just kick some of the snow off this. Look at this. This is nice. Okay. That seems to be one of the qualities of my videos, is that halfway through I start doing something else, just to give you a little bit of a insight into what's going on. Anyway. Okay, here we go. Gonna have a wet bum. It's really a big thing. These things that seem like small, like sleeping pattern, if you're trying to fix other things in your life, and they're not kind of sticking. Sometimes the things that seem kind of inconsequential, well, it doesn't matter what time I get to sleep, I still have the same amount of hours in the day. But actually for me, I've found that now I sleep properly, everything else can start to fit together. It doesn't instantly come together, but I can start fitting it together. And, you know, just being able to be out in the daylight is a big deal. Little things make a big difference. So if this is a New Year's resolution of yours, or if you're watching this later and you just want to reset your sleeping schedule, good luck to you. There are my tips. Okay, I'm done. See you guys. Bye.